Whew. You hush. Hey everybody, we are live here on a Saturday afternoon. You hush. See if I can find us on YouTube here. I'm sure we're there somewhere. Let me get back to Facebook. Alright. Turn this off and let you guys know what's going on. Alright, so we are live coming at you from steamy Ormond Beach, Florida today. So just kind of working around the shop, getting a few things done. We are starting a build that we're going to be presenting on the live show on one of these babies right here, a Ricmotech RS1 DIY sim rig. So I know a lot of our readers, a lot of folks in the sports car community in general are into sim racing, whether it's guys, Daddy's doing a show, okay? It's Saturday afternoon. It's a friggin' zoo here. So look, a lot of our readers are into sim racing. A lot of folks don't live in Florida. You can't race year round, or you want to learn a new track. You're going someplace you haven't been, and you want to check out the digital version of that track. So you go to iRacing, you go to Project Cars, you go to Gran Turismo, you go to Forza. And you use it to learn a new track, or you participate in leagues and you get you scratch your competitive itch, that way. It's a fairly amazing way to actually go about, honing your skills for meat space automotive activities. So rather than have to steer with your keyboard or a joystick or something, a lot of folks build sim rigs. Ricmotech is a highly respected company in the sim world. And they, for about 50 bucks, will sell you the plans for a DIY sim rig. And we're going to be building one over the next week or so here, and I'll be shooting some video, and we'll be, doing a little bit of a build on the live show. Yeah, Carl, Opie is where is Opie? He's next door somewhere. Yeah, I see the door to his pen is closed, so maybe we'll go over and say hi to him in a few minutes. We got parrots over here having a bath. That's where all the noise is coming from. So what I wanted to do today is basically just kind of take you guys through the parts list and make sure I have everything for the build, and kind of tell you what this costs and what it looks like. So here's what it looks like, basically. See if that'll actually focus on that. That's what the rig looks like, of course, minus the seat. It basically, it looks like, if you remember Hard Driving, the old arcade hit Hard Driving. It looks a lot like one of those consoles. It's actually a pretty cool setup. And the way it works is, for about 50 bucks, you buy the plans from Frank at Ricmotech, and not only do you get this fairly awesome guidebook. It's like 35 or it's like a 30-page. Yeah, it's a 40-page guidebook. You also get these blueprints, which are not just blueprints, but a full template. It's a full set of templates that you just basically cut out, lay down on your workpiece, and you don't have to do any measuring. You don't have to do any precise, you know, curve finding. You just lay these templates down on your work pieces, cut them out, and screw the thing together. It's a really, really awesome, awesome way to put together a sim rig. So Carl wants to know if we could use a regular car seat. That's my plan, actually, is to go to the junkyard and find, you know, a nice seat out of something sporty and use that. So that's 100% what I'm planning on doing with this build. So let me take you guys through the materials list, guys. Really, here's what I'm up against over here is a bunch of parrots taking a bath. Where's Maisie in there? Yeah, so that's what I'm up against right now, is a bunch of cockatoos flapping and screaming and having a good old time in the bath. So if there's noise, my apologies, but there's not much we can do to compete. Look, this isn't a regular Wednesday show. This is just us screwing around in the shop. This is mostly me making sure I have all the stuff to do this with. All right, so let's go over the materials list and what this is going to cost you and what you're going to need to put it together. So you're going to need 3 pieces of 2x4x8 lumber. Now, I actually got 2x6s because if you've bought 2x4s recently, you know that no matter where you buy 2x4s, they suck. So I got 2x6s. I'm going to rip them down so they have nice square edges and turn them into 2x4s. You need a sheet of 1/2-inch plywood. You can actually do this whole thing from plywood. We're using MDF for quite a bit of it. You can actually do the whole thing from plywood. I bought really the nicest, you know, 1/2-inch sheet of plywood. It's a nice sheet of birch plywood. I had Lowe's cut it for me to make it fit in the van easier. But this is, you know, a nice sheet of 1/2-inch birch plywood. It's already finished on one side. You need a little bit of hardware. You need, you know, if you're buying it from Lowe's, it's going to be $7 or $8 of hardware. If you're buying it from you know, a good bolt store, it's going to be $4 or $5 of hardware. You need screws, some 2.5-inch and some 1.5-inch. The instructions give you all of the cuts in here that you need to make. So you can actually have all your big cuts done at Lowe's, at Home Depot, wherever they cut lumber. Lowe's actually, I had them cut this stuff down a little bit. I'm gonna finish it myself and cut it to size. But they actually did kind of the rough cuts for me. They didn't charge me a thing for the first cut. I think after that they only charge like $1 or $2 per cut. So you can actually have them do all your cutting. And it's only going to cost you about $10 extra. So how much was all of this stuff? Oh, you're also going to need some construction adhesive and some spray adhesive to hold your plans down. This is Loctite Power Grab and Loctite spray adhesive. I apologize in advance if CRC makes a construction adhesive and a spray adhesive. I'll have to check their catalog. Maybe they do. If they do, forget I ever said this. But yeah, I'm a big fan, especially this Loctite Power Grab stuff. It's a good sort of all-purpose construction adhesive, and it's just good for sticking stuff to other stuff. And that is pretty much it for the big part. There's some other ways you can kind of detail it off and do a few other things. Let me look back, see if we got any questions. Robert wants to know if there's been a shop tour video. Now, there really hasn't been a shop tour. We should actually do a shop tour of everybody's shops, especially Tom's. Tom Sutter is putting together a really, really beautiful shop that he just finished, and he actually so I was busting his balls for this a little bit, but he actually made the mistake of he started to work in it a little bit before he finished the shop. And I mean, sometimes you can't avoid that, but like he was starting to take cars apart with, you know, bare studs and stuff in there, and he quickly realized how that was gonna not really make it easy to finish. But he's got the thing is completely painted and drywalled and floor painted now, and it looks really awesome. And he's got cabinets in there, and he's done a really good job at like finding other stuff. So yeah, we should do like we actually have a big shop contest coming up, and we'll probably do a little tour of like all of our home shops and show you guys what we're working with. So that's the materials list for the Ricmotech RS1. So how much? I bought all this stuff, and I purposely went to Lowe's and I bought everything that was on the materials list, even though I had some of the stuff already. I purposely bought everything just so I could see how much it was. But it was under 140 bucks. It was like $138 and change for all this stuff. And actually, I could have saved $1.50 a piece if I had just bought 2x4s instead of 2x6s that I'm then gonna cut down. So they're actually who would want a square 2x4? Imagine. And I spent an extra maybe 10 bucks on the really nice birch plywood instead of just pine plywood. And I got the premium MDF, which was maybe another 10 bucks. But you could maybe cut this down to about 125, 120 bucks. But you're still not looking at a ton of money to put this thing together. I mean, all in, even once it's painted and finished, and you got some accessories on there, you're looking at way under 200 bucks to actually finish this thing up. Oh my God, Carl! CRC does make spray adhesive. Okay, forget here. Let's do this. You will need a can of high quality spray adhesive to complete this project. I'll cut that in to the stuff earlier. All right, yeah, thanks for... Oh my God, they make construction adhesive too. You will need a tube of high quality construction adhesive of an unspecified brand. I don't know what kind. Okay, so there we go. Thanks for outing me, Carl. I appreciate that. So there's the list. There's the materials list. You're also going to need. We're going to be doing the big cuts here on a table saw. If you don't have a table saw or don't have access to a table saw, you can do it all with a circular saw. That shouldn't be any problem, guys. And you're also going to. You definitely will need a jigsaw. And also, and this is sort of the only woodworking tip I'm going to give you is you're going to need some breathing protection because you're working with MDF, and MDF can be really, really nasty stuff when you cut it. Especially, there's a lot of MDF is basically it's an engineered product. It's essentially sawdust that's compressed in a mold with binders and glues and turned into a sheet, into a board. So when you cut it, it releases a lot of those binder products. There's adhesives, there's formaldehyde in there, there's a lot of nasty stuff in there. And also when you cut it, it makes just the finest, most powdery dust you can possibly imagine. So whenever you're working with MDF, and whenever you're cutting MDF, breathing protection and well ventilated area. I'm going to cut all this stuff outside. I've got my saw set up so I can actually roll the thing outside. We're going to get the birds way the hell out of here so they don't have to breathe the stuff. So that's going to be, I mean, I am not Norm Ding Dang Abrams over here, okay? I'm not going to be giving you a lot of woodworking tips. I'm going to share knowledge where I think it's going to apply to you, but chances are your skills and my skills are probably about equal when it comes to woodworking. So so that's pretty much it. I'm actually gonna push these guys out of the way a little bit now that their bath is done. I'm gonna do kind of a setup for this because we're gonna be showing this video. What I'm gonna do probably is put this thing together over the next week or so. We'll actually build it. And then we will do a live show where we just kind of put the finishing touches on it. So I need some archive video and some time lapses and stuff of me actually doing this stuff to be able to show you guys how to do it. So we will we will do that here shortly. Also going to check out, I'm going to check out YouTube here in a second. If anybody's watching on YouTube right now, I can't watch both the Facebook and YouTube questions at the same time. So I'm going to run back to the computer actually and see if there's any questions from YouTube and try and get those answered. So if you're watching on YouTube, please don't feel like I'm ignoring you at the moment. Actually, here, we'll all go inside together and I'll show you what we're using for a sim rig now. Now that we have wireless for the cameras, it's fairly rad. So here's what we're using for a sim rig now. This is an old, I think it's called a game racer rig that we've actually built this really hokey sort of cheeseball base for, just to kind of keep it off the ground, and it works. I mean, it works fairly good for what it is. It's not really, you know, it's not a great solution. It's certainly not anything high tech, but you know, we'd like to do something pretty cool. We've also started using one of these. This is an Oculus Rift VR setup that we've just started playing around with for sim racing, and it's really, really impressive. So let me check out YouTube quick, and just gonna see if we got anybody on YouTube asking anything. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back and make, kind of shoot the intro to this whole thing. All right, not a ton of chat on the YouTubes there. So okay, so let's do this. Let me roll you guys back outside, and see if there's anything else in here I need to show you. I don't think there is. Let's see. Yeah, let me let's roll everybody back outside. And then we're gonna let the birds finish their shower up, roll them to a quiet spot, and shoot an actual little intro for this thing. All right, you guys done with your bath? Oh, you look very happy and clean, lady. Okay. Now, Carl, I checked YouTube, man. It's all good. Okay, so let's do this. Let me in order to record all this stuff, I'm gonna go through a really quick recap of the stuff we've already talked about, because I just kind of want to get this on tape so I can use it. So if I stop looking at questions for a few minutes, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just that I want to do a whole run through here so we can get this on tape to use later. So let me get everything set here. All right, let's do it. Hi everybody, I'm JG Pasterjack from Grassroots Motorsports Live. I'm going to go through the beginning of our build on our Ricmotech RS1 DIY sim rig. So here's what we did. We ordered these plans from Frank at Ricmotech. They are an incredibly sort of well-respected player in the sim racing arena, and it's a really cool setup. So here is a close-up of what it looks like. It is basically a cabinet that holds your sim wheel, your sim pedals, a seat of your choice, and provides a base for you to do your sim racing room. You no longer have to attach your wheel to a table, or steer with a keyboard, or all that stupid stuff. So why this is so cool is, for about 50 bucks, Ricmotech will send you these blueprints along with this 40-page guidebook. But these blueprints are not merely blueprints, they are a full-size set of templates that you will then cut out, apply directly to your workpieces to make all of your cuts from. So it makes it a really, really simple process to actually cut this stuff out. You don't have to do a lot of measuring, you don't have to do a lot of curve delineation. You just put these templates on there and cut along the dotted lines. It is that simple. So here's what you're going to need to put one of these together. We actually just got back from Lowe's. We bought everything we're going to need. So I'll tell you what you need and how much it's going to cost. You're going to need 3 pieces of 2x4x8 construction lumber. The eagle-eyed among you will recognize this as 2x6 construction lumber. If you've tried to buy 2x4s recently, you understand how bad they suck. So we're going to take these 2x6s, we're going to rip them so they have nice square edges on both sides, and make 2x4s out of them. You're going to need a half sheet of 1/2-inch plywood. I bought a full sheet, but you're going to need a half sheet. And you're going to need a sheet of 3/4-inch MDF. You're going to need some miscellaneous hardware, 1/2-inch bolts and nuts, 5/16 bolts and nuts, some washers. It's about $7 or $8 worth of hardware, even at big box store prices. You're going to need some miscellaneous deck screws. It's all spelled out in the list exactly what you're going to need. You're going to need some spray adhesive, and you're going to need some construction adhesive, and that is pretty much it. Our complete bill for everything came out to under $140, and that's including buying more plywood than we needed, buying 2x6s instead of 2x4s, buying the nicest premium cabinet quality MDF that they had, and basically probably spending more than we could have gotten away with building a less elaborate version. So yeah, well, it was like $138 and change for all these pieces. So out the door, completely finished and painted, we're expecting this thing to be well under $200. So we're going to get going with our actual construction here. I've got some resizing of some of this wood to do. Although if you've got a good Lowe's or a good Home Depot, they have a wood cutting area. They can actually do 99% of the cuts, especially the big cuts, the cuts on these MDF panels. They can do those right in the store, and the instructions give you the sizes you'll want to have that stuff cut to. And I know, like, our Lowe's doesn't even charge to cut panels, and even the ones that do only charge like $1 or $2 per cut. So that's not going to really add that much, and it makes it easier to transport. So that's it, and we will get going on the build here. And I got flies buzzing around me, and all right, thanks for coming along. All right, that's it. So that is basically what it looks like when I shoot an intro for this. So yeah, you'll actually see. I'll yank that off of YouTube, and we'll put that in the final show with the build. So I'm gonna actually get going and cut some of this stuff. We got rain coming. I want to try and get some of this cutting done before it rains. That's another thing about MDF is the stuff is really super moisture sensitive. So if you're working with MDF, like, don't ever set a drink down on it. Even be careful about, like, if you're sweaty, leaning up against it, because the stuff will just suck up any moisture, and it can swell. It can change sizes. The edges can, if it sucks moisture into these edges, it can get kind of soft and start coming apart. So be very, very careful about this stuff around any kind of moisture. But it's heavy, but it's easy to work with. It cuts really nice. It leaves a really nice edge when it's cut, and it actually looks really, really good. So yeah, James says he's excited for this. We are too, man. This is really cool. Like, I had been wanting to build a rig for a while and do it on the live show. I thought it would be a great a great topic for the live show. And we may still build our own sort of custom rig, but how cool is this that like Frank for $50 will send you these templates, and how easy is that, man? Like, you don't even have to do a lot of measuring, you don't have to do a lot of curve finding. You just glue those suckers down there and you are good to go. What else we got here? Carl wants to know if there's any info on the garbage can caper. Yeah, the other day our garbage cans were turned over. We know there was a local. He's like a big black lab type dog that doesn't normally get out, but he was totally out ransacking garbage cans, and ours was one of the ones he got. And he was like, when I busted him, he totally was walking away and like kind of looking back like, what? That wasn't me, man. What do you think it was me? It wasn't me. So that's the answer to the garbage can caper. Yeah, Carl, thanks for posting the Ricmotech link. We appreciate that. The link is also in the description. It's in the YouTube description, and then after this video goes up on Facebook, I'll hot link them to the Ricmotech YouTube page. So here's my plan today before the rain comes. Is I want to get all of these panels cut to size where I can just apply these templates. I want to get these 2x6s ripped down to 3.5 inches, turn them into 2x4s with quality sides. I mean, dude, look at it. Like, it is so hard to buy a good 2x4 anymore. Check this out. So I just rolled that over to sit on top of there, and I didn't just buy that. Like, I spent some time. Going through. Look at the gap along the bottom of that 2x6 against the board that's under. Look how much it changes along by the board that's under it. I would happily pay a couple of bucks more per piece of wood for, like, quality construction grade 2x4s. I don't know if that's a thing. Our local big box places certainly don't have anything better than this. I mean, this is what they consider their premium grade 2x4s. So all right, James wants to know, how many monitors are we planning to run? Funny you should ask that. So our sim setup right now is well, here, I'll roll you guys back inside. I gotta roll the camera back inside anyway. I'll show you, you might have missed what our sim setup is. So the Ricmotech setup will actually, there's actually some options to run a triple monitor setup with the Ricmotech setup. So our sim setup runs one of two things. We either run off of that projector right there onto that 120-inch movie screen right there, or we just got one of these babies right here. This is an Oculus Rift VR headset setup, and we've been using it for both iRacing and for project cars, and it's pretty phenomenal. Like, it's a fairly major step, I think, in sim racing, in that it lets you do the things that you are normally doing in a race car. For example, it allows you to look through corners. It allows you to look ahead way more than a screen in front of you does, and it allows you to check traffic beside you and behind you, and to actually act the way you would in a normal race car. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but these things, Oculus had a big sale this summer, like $400. You got one of these, and they're touch sensors, and dude, that's I'm impressed. I don't think I would want to go back. If I was going to learn a new track, I would learn it way faster in here than I would learn it on a screen. Now, with a triple screen setup, that might be a little bit different, because you can actually use your peripheral vision a little more with a 3-screen setup. But the Oculus, man, is really, really impressive. Let me grab the iPad real quick and see if there's any messages just before we go, and then we will sign off, and I will get to work here before the rain comes. So let's see. Oh, Andres wants to know what seat are we going to use. Well, right now, you might have missed this before. We are using this this old setup from a company called Game Racer, I believe. It's been so long since we got this thing. So this is what we're using right now. I mean, it's literally just this kind of slapped together thing with what I believe is probably a fake Corbeau seat on there. My apologies to the nice people at the Corbeau company. But I think, to answer your question about what seat we're going to use, I think I'm just going to go to the junkyard, man. And our local pick and pull junkyard wants like $30 per seat, that, you know, for a seat that doesn't have airbags. I'm going to find the nicest sports seat we can find there and bolt it down to the new rig. So I think that's the answer, unless, you know, I'm going to check with everybody on staff, and maybe somebody has a race seat that's aged out or is in need of replacement. We can use it, but I'm probably just going to go to the junkyard, man, and get something nice, you know, something out of a reasonably sporty car, and use that for the seat. Yeah, because Carl put the link up to the Oculus. 400, man. If I want to learn a new track, I'm going to learn it a lot quicker when I can actually look through the corners. I can actually move my head the way my head is going to move in a real car. It is really, really impressive. And you know, look, I'm not going to lie to you. The robot fighting games are exceptional as well. So, all right. Yeah, Carl says passenger side is less used. Yeah, and actually the thing about using a passenger seat is frequently a passenger seat will be on a flatter floor, so it's easier to bolt down to what's going to end up being a flat deck. You know, you frequently will have, at least you'll have a choice. You know, so you know, don't limit. Obviously, I'm not going to limit it to just looking for driver's seats. I'm going to find the nicest seat I can with the flattest mounting available. We can change the mounting a little bit if we have to, but you know, the flatter the mounting is, the easier it's going to be to mount. James said, yeah, it wouldn't be grassroots any other way. No, I agree. And you know, for $30 or 30, I think $36.88 is the price for a seat at our local pick and pull, which is an LKQ. So it's pretty standardized. All right, folks, that is it. I got to get to work here because the rain is coming, and I want to get this stuff cut and back inside before the rains come and dump all over us here. So that's it. Thanks for being along. Thanks for hanging out with us. So Andrew says, a seat with a lot of comfort. Use a 2004 Civic Type R seat on my DIY. I don't think, well, first off, we don't have any Civic Type R's from 2004 in the US. But yeah, you know, it doesn't, I think it needs to be something relatively sporty, so you're not just sitting on a bench. But look, let's face it, you're under no actual G-force one way or the other, so you don't need a ton of support. I think you just need to have something that you can sit in for a while, and you know, you're not gonna, like this Corbeau thing, like or sorry, this fake Corbeau. It's like Corbeau with a K. This thing is wicked uncomfortable for any more than about 20 or 25 minutes. Like you're squirming around and stuff. It's really hard on the old butt. All right, folks, that's it. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for standing here and watch me sweat on a Saturday afternoon. It is miserably hot and humid here in Florida, but we appreciate everything. Obviously, check out crcindustries.com. I'll throw up links to those guys in a few minutes. Check out CRC. I apologize to them for not knowing they had spray adhesive or construction adhesive. I'll have to get with them and get some for this project. And check out autobooks-aerobooks.com for all your book needs. They probably even have stuff on sim racing too. I'll have to check that out as well. This Wednesday will be a regular live show with Lee Grimes from Coney. So any shock tech questions you have, join us live for that. Man, I am sweating my ass off over here. Folks, that is it. I'm JG Pasterjack. I'm going to get to work. I'm literally just talking because I don't want to go out there and cut wood because it's so hot. So that is it. I will see you guys next Wednesday. Thanks for joining us today. Bye.